Shalom to the elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth. Throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akwa who are listening and learning. You few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. And this is a video from the elder from South Carolina, Manata Zakba. And his video is about, the title of the video is White Man's Slavery, Esau Captivity. What I'm finna show you in the video, he did a excellent video showing you how the Edomites has had a huge gap, a huge head start in the race when it comes to the wealth gap, okay, between the Edomites and you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, this is about how the Edomites have had a head start, a long head start, hundreds of years of head start race. Okay, a head start in this race when it comes to wealth gap and equal opportunity, which has never been equal opportunity, but that's why it's called, he titled it, it's a structural discrimination, the unequal opportunity race, okay, between Israelites and Edomites. So Lord witness be edified. Now what you see right here is the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, okay? Judah and Ephraim, and on the other side, on the left, you see Edomites, okay? And what you finna see is how they had a head start in this race, man. You see as they're going back and forth, back and forth. And you see they just going, right? You see it's going. Esau, look, Jake ain't really take flight in 1964, man. Okay? That's when Jake got a chance to start the race. But Esau been running, right? Since what? The 1400s, man. Okay? And he's showing you all the different signs, man. The elder did a beautiful video on this, man. Okay, discrimination. Look, stumbling blocks, poor schooling, right? Underemployment. Standardized test. School to prison pipeline. All these things happen to you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Housing segregation. Look, racial profiling. shorten lifespan. Through what? All they different pestilences, man. Okay? GMO foods, contaminated waters. Look at Esau just sliding by, man. You see all that happen, man. That dead end. So let's go to this.
Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Mark Steiner. It's great to have you all with us. As many of you know, we broadcast from Baltimore, Maryland. One of our most heinous legacies is that this is a city that gave birth to what is known as redlining, intentionally and legally segregating neighborhoods and steering African Americans to buy homes in those neighborhoods at exorbitant prices and through lending contracts, not federally secure mortgages. So you can never really own the home and you'll be in debt forever and can't create wealth, though it created wealth in the white world and increasing poverty in the black world. A group of researchers at the Samuel Du Bois Cook Center for Social Equity produced a report about redlining and the seriousness of its consequences. The report's entitled The Plunder of Black Wealth in Chicago, through findings on the lasting toll of predatory housing contracts. It not only tells the history, but details its consequences and its financial toll. And is part and parcel of the underpinning for many of the arguments on reparations. And I hope this is just the beginning of our conversations about this report and similar things in the coming months. The study was brought to our attention by our guest today, Bill Black, who's an associate professor of economics and law at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, white-collar criminologist, former financial regulator, author of The Best Way to Rob a Bank is to Own One, and of course, a regular contributor here at The Real News.
And we know who own the
welcome
banks,
back.
man.
Be with us as always.
Thank you.
So this report is pretty stunning, both in terms of history, which I think they give more details to the history than maybe some of us knew that because of their research. But I think the real importance of this work is to show its consequences. So talk about, and this because this happens across the country. And I always feel there's a synergy between Baltimore and Chicago. One's large, one's small, but have really similar history. So go to the heart of why you thought this was such an important report.
Yeah, so this is important in essentially every metropolitan area that had any meaningful black population. Redlining may have begun in Baltimore, but it was a nationwide phenomenon. It was introduced by the U.S. government. It gets its name because literally they would draw with a red pen on a map and not loan or not provide federal mortgage protection to any mortgages issued in that portion of the city. And what it was particularly aimed at was not neighborhoods that were already majority and or almost exclusively black, but any change from an area that used to be overwhelmingly white to a area that was desegregated. The theory of this was, oh my God, prices will collapse because of white racism if somebody who's black moves into the neighborhood, and we, the federal government, are guaranteeing the lenders against losses. The lenders will suffer significant losses. They'll pass them on to us. And so, we don't have anything against blacks. We just don't want to lose money. And we realize that many whites are racist. So this is how we're going to protect ourselves.
I mean, the reality is that this was, in many ways, when you look at the history of this was really a conspiracy in many ways involving the Federal Reserve, involving the federal government, involving people who sold real estate. And, and they did hate black people. I mean, they really disliked black folks. And it was pretty clear to me that these were not do-gooders trying to help the world. And they right?
In fairness, they never claimed to be do-gooders out to protect the world. But yes, there's a very good book, a little dated now, American Apartheid,
Yes.
that is filled with this history and a number of the consequences. But this study says, okay, what kind of predation occurred taking advantage of this redlining, right? And economists are finally starting to take predation seriously. So predation is where you do something that is incredibly slimy, but you have the political juice that it's never defined as criminal. All right? So predation in this sphere is not something that is less nasty than a crime. It's more nasty. It's both the actions that are substantively equivalent to crimes and the political juice to be able to do it with absolute impunity. And this is an area where in Chicago, the reason this article and this study exists is because blacks fought back. And they fought back twice with lawsuits. Now, they lost, but in the course of creating those lawsuits, they created what is now a database that researchers could go and see what happened to the people who were subjected to these land contracts. So what's a land contract, right? It isn't that you will never own, it's that you are very unlikely to ever own. And
Right, because what you understand is, right, the word mortgage go back to morgue, okay? The word mortgage go back to the word morgue, which mean what? Death note, man. Okay, you be paying off these lands, paying off your houses, but you can never own the land, right? You unless you got some land grandfathered in, right? But you can never own the land, so you're constantly paying taxes. You can own the house, but you never own the land. So you constantly you forever, right, trying to pay off your mortgage, which is a death note, man.
you will also pay enormously more. So here's first the economics and then how it fits with the law. The economics were that when blacks would first move into a neighborhood that was overwhelmingly white, because of white racism and white flight, housing prices would fall sharply, but that was a very short-term phenomenon.
Now what it's called, what they just say is, when the Jake move into the neighborhood, what the Edomites say, they go to the neighborhood. Okay, the price value go down, man.
Over any medium to long term, prices typically recovered. But that meant that sleazy developers could buy up homes, and they would go in and they would stir up white racism and fear, right? Oh, your property values are going to collapse. Let us buy your home now while you can still get 70 cents on the dollar. And many, many white householders would sell. So these sleazy developers, they were called blockbusters in my day,
Right.
would be able to buy the properties at maybe 50 to 70 cents on the dollar. They would then turn around, because it was more difficult because of all this redlining, for blacks to be able to get homes in areas they preferred and be able to charge a premium price. All right? So,
Hey, and that's Esau doing what? By usury, man. Okay, let's go back to this.
What?
So,
You
it's a
haven't
lucky
played
for the
World of
infomercial.
Warships yet? Why
I
the
didn't even know they had an
hell
infomercial
not?
in this. So, showing you these Edomites, they use what? They use usury, man. Okay, and they have had a jump start. Matter of fact, let me run this back, showing you the jump start that these Edomites have had, man. Let me play this one more time and get a couple precepts. So this started since 1492. Now that's going to show you that the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom The Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom didn't make a move until 1964, man. Okay? So Esau has been running the race all this time. That's why I like how the brother did this, man. Okay? We didn't get a start till 1764, man. Esau had a head start since 1492 to 1964, man. Okay? That's a huge difference in wealth gap, man. So 1964, that's when the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom got a start. You so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, West Indian, Haitian got a start. And it's still, Esau put stumbling blocks, okay? This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Okay? He shall become the head, and thou shalt become the tail. Now, who owned the banks? We know who owned the banks, okay? The Edomites. So it say, he shall lend to you, but thou shalt not lend to him, all right? Moreover, verse 45, Deuteronomy 28 and 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, because thou servest not the Lord Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Okay? Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, meaning food, and in thirst, water, and in nakedness, meaning clothes, and in the want of all things, that's housing, transportation, and work. Okay? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Okay? They have had a head start in the race, man. Okay? In the wealth gap. And you will never be able to get equal with these Edomites. Why? Because the Lord gave them this, man. Okay? This is their kingdom, man. The Lord gave them this to rule in wickedness. Okay? This is their kingdom, man. This is their kingdom. And this is let me go to this is Zephaniah Zechariah chapter 1 verse 15. And it reads, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, right? He was but a little displeased, and they held forth the affliction. So you Edomites have forth the affliction, okay? Because what it say? You stood in the way, man. You stood in the way, and you consented with these, okay? This is so the Lord said he was a little displeased, and you Edomites have forth the affliction, man, okay? Because what it tell you in the law? You know, if you got a servant, you work him for 6 years, and on the 7th year, man, okay, you let him go, man. You let him go freely, okay? You didn't do that, man. This is Isaiah 51 and 22. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cups of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which is the Edomites, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. To who? The Edomites, man. Okay. This is they did a number on us, man. Okay. They destroyed us. They took our heritage. And then they tell you in Revelation, right? Matter of fact, let me read that. This is Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. Right? Now I say, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, right? Which is called spiritually Sodom and Egypt. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies to be put in graves. Meaning what? Hey man, you Edomites could have told that we was the Israelites, but they didn't, man. Okay? They didn't even suffer your bodies to be put in graves, man. They say spiritually. It's not talking about dead bodies. It's talking about we were spiritually dead because we didn't have the truth. And they could have told you that you were the Hebrew Israelites, but no. Why would they tell you that when they want to take your heritage? Okay? That's why they call themselves today the Jews or Israelis. They wanted your heritage. Okay? And they dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall send gifts one to another. And they did that in slavery. They took pictures of Jake when they was hanging Jake. They put them on postcards, man. Okay? And if you understand history, you'll know verse 10, Revelation 11:10, it reads, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. And they did. They should stand around in numbers, man. 20s and 30s to 100s. Watching Jake get hung, okay? Or getting his rod cut off. It's saying they shall dwell upon the earth, shall rejoice over them, and make merry, meaning, enjoy, having good time, drinking wine and liquor, laughing, right? And shall send gifts one to another. And them gifts talking about they used to hang a Jake, take a picture and put it on the front of a postcard and send it to their family members, man. This is what the Edomites did to us in slavery. Because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, enter into them, which is the truth, Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they stood upon their feet. What you see us out here in the highways and byways doing? Standing upon our feet, and great fear fell upon them. It said who? What fear fell? They sinned. Oh, when you read Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, right? And this is what it reads. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. Who afflicted us? The Edomites, slavery, and made no account of his labors. When they shall see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, as I just read to you in Revelation 11, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. The strangeness of our salvation is what? When you read Revelation 11:12, what does it say? And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Okay? That's when the elect gonna get beamed out of here in chariots. Okay? They're gonna be amazed at our salvation. Okay? At the elect's salvation. Okay? So it say, you shall stand in great boldness, man, before the face of such as have afflicted you. And who did that, man? We know who did that, okay? This is Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5. And it reads, thus saith the Lord, start at verse 4. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, which is who? The Israelites, whose possessors slay them, and they did, man. Rape, rob, murder. Okay, they fed us to alligators, all type of ways. They cut Jake Rod off. They butt broke. They were doing butt breaking. Okay, on the plantation. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. What do these might say today, man? Hey, you gotta let bygones be bygones, man. Okay, get over slavery, right? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, was we not sold on auctioning blocks? Right? A man, woman, and his kids were sold to all different plantations, and they never saw each other again, man. Okay, that's one of the curses. That's one of the curses, man. And they that sell them, what does Exodus 21:16 say? He that stealeth a man and sells him. Who did that? The Edomites. Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And that's what they said. We rich, man. We sold you jakes on auctioning blocks. That's how Wall Street was built. From auctioning, Wall Street, North America, all the other countries was built off of the back of Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Okay? Off of the blood, sweat, and tears of Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. For I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. These Edomites didn't pity us at all. And that's another curse. The Lord say they will not have pity on the old or the poor, man. That's another curse. Okay? So we know, according to the curses, man, they're talking about so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You Southern Kingdom, man. You Northern Kingdom, man. Okay? This is what the Lord say. For I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, saith the Lord. But lo, I will deliver the men, every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king, and they shall smite the land, and out of their hand will I not deliver them. Okay? And I will feed the flock of the slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took up my two staves, the one I called beauty, and the other I called bands, and I fed the flock. So, you know, this was the curses that went into Jake's hand, man. This was the curses that Jake had to suffer because why? We sin against the Lord, man. So when you go to Micah, chapter 7, verse 9, this is what it reads. I will batter in the nation of the Lord Yahweh because I sinned against him. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So we got to batter in the nation of the Lord, man. And going into slavery, coming into Babylon the Great, right? We got to suffer that, man. Okay? But the Lord said to these Edomites that he was a little displeased, and they did what? Zechariah 1:15. And I was very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. Because you Edomites at ease, because you say what? For blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Right? The Lord say, I am very sore displeased with the heathen. They are at ease. You at ease now. You thinking everything is all good because you thought the Lord was all together like you. He say, the Lord say, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forth the affliction. So you Edomites, you took it to a whole nother level, man. Okay, cutting Jake rods off. Okay, which hanging, when you hang a man, that's in the law, man. Okay, but when you hang a man after they die, you're supposed to take them down that same day, man, or that same hour, man. But what the Edomites do, they let us hung on trees for days on end, man. And once you hang a man, which is lawful, it's in the law, you're supposed to take them down that very same hour, man. Okay, you're supposed to leave them up for a day or two, man. That's wicked. So you Edomites help forth the affliction. You said what? Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. This is James chapter 5, verse 1. And it reads, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. All you Edomites, you elites. Because the peon Edomites, they don't know nothing. Okay? This is talking to the elites, the bank owners. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. All your suits, your $1,000 suits are moth-eaten, man. Your gold and silver is cankered. Right now, they trying to take North America back to the gold standard, man. Okay, because the dollar's finna crash. But the Lord say what? In Ezekiel 7:19, you shall cast your gold and silver into the streets. It shall not be able to deliver you, okay, in the day of judgment, in the day of wrath for the Lord, man. Okay? It is a stumbling block into Jake, because Jake thinking they're going to get out of here with gold and silver, man. This is show you how the scripture tell you. The scripture don't say nothing about dollars, okay? FRNs. It say they shall cast their gold and silver to the streets. And guess what the world trying to go back to right now? Gold and silver, man. It say your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. What does it tell you in Ecclesiasticus chapter 12? Okay? It'll be like you wipe the looking glass, for his rust cannot all be wiped away, man. That's why I say right here, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, talking to you Edomites, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. When you look up the word fraud, man, okay? Go look up the word fraud, man. These Edomites, they do things by fraud, man. They cheat, okay? When you look at the word fraud, it's going into cheat, man, okay? That's why they use usury, man. That's why they showed you the video about billions stolen from black families by predatory lending, man. Okay? Predatory lending, man. By fraud, man. By cheap fraud, usury, man. They cheap and they do usury. And it's a law on that, man. Okay? Which, that's for Jake, on Jake not to do usury. But Esau, Edom, he don't go by no laws, man. Okay? He is the man of sin, the son of perdition. It say, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, meaning they work for you continually, right? And you don't pay them properly, which is of you kept back by fraud. Okay? Cheat, man. So you can gain, so you can be rich. It say, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. So the Lord hear the cries of his elect men, man, that's complaining continually. And he said we have a right to complain, man. When you read Ecclesiastes, it tells you surely oppression make a wise man mad, man. Okay? You got to get up and go to work for you devils day in and day out, man, to pay bills. And you're not paying Jake what he's supposed to be getting paid, man. And in the law, you're supposed to pay a man daily, man, not bi-weekly, not bi-weekly, man. You supposed to every man's supposed to get paid daily wages, man. Okay, that's in the law, man. And you Edomites is not doing that. It said, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton, and have nourished your hearts as in the days of slaughter. What slaughter? Of Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Okay. The Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, the Sub-Saharan slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade, man. Ye have condemned and killed the just, which is the elect, and he doeth not resist you. Okay, these things have you Edomites done, man, and you're going to have to pay for it. This is Jeremiah chapter 16. And I'm going to start at verse 17. And it reads, for my eyes are upon all their ways, they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquities and their sin double, man. Okay? You should have a double portion of this, man. Because they have defiled my land, which is what? Israel, Jerusalem. They have filled my inheritance, which is the Israelites, with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things, meaning eating pork, shrimp, crabs, and lobster. You got Jake eating all that madness, man. The Lord say, because they have defiled my land, Israel, Jerusalem, they have filled my inheritance, the Israelites, with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things, which is, you got Jake eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, man. Okay? all the shrimp, all the roaches out to sea, man. You got Jake eating that madness. Okay, the Lord said your sin gonna be double for that. And I'm finna get that. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse. This is Jeremiah 51 and 6, and it reads. Is it 6? Let me see. Oh, verse 9, right? We will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. So it's nothing that's going to be done to save Babylon the Great. It's finna fall. And I'm getting to the point. My point is, forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment, this is my point, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Okay? So the Lord watches and hears everything, man. It said your judgment, meaning your sins, your iniquities that you had them done on this earth to the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, because the Lord only care about the Israelites. He don't care about the other heathen nations. Okay, so the sin that you have committed, sin on top of sin, iniquities on top of iniquities that you did to the Hebrew Israelites, your sins have piled up to the heavens, man. That's basically what it's saying. Now, when you go to Revelation 18 and 6, it says the same thing. This is Revelation 18 and verse 6. And it reads, we reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. Verse 5 say, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have remembered her iniquities. Okay? So the thing that you have done to the Hebrew Israelites, to the elect, because 2/3 of Israel are going to die. So the Lord only care about the elect of Israel. Okay? It have reached into the heavens, man. Okay? It's in the lower ears. Now this is 2nd Ezra chapter 11 and verse 40. And it said the same thing. Matter of fact, let me read 37. But this head put the whole earth in fear, and bear rule in it over all those that dwell upon the earth, which much oppression. And it have the governance of the world more than all wings that have been. Okay? Talking about the revived Roman Empire. Okay? So when you read verse 40, it reads, I'm going to read 42. It says, for thou have afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. My point, verse 43, 2nd Ezra chapter 11, verse 43. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. And who got pride? What it tell you in Obadiah, man? Let's read it. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3. And you know they're talking about you Edomites. Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks. Why I say cliffs of the rocks? Because you come from the caves, right? You cave dweller, you Caucasian. Caucasian mean cave dwellers. And that's why you got these skyscrapers now, because it reminds you of the caves, man. Okay? That's why you got these streets paved, the roads asphalted, sidewalks paved with concrete, because it remind you of the rocks, man. Thou that dwellers in the cliffs of the rocks, man. Your pride is, your pride is exalted, man. Okay? And the Lord gonna destroy you, man, for what you have done to the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Now this is Sirach 14 and 4, Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 4, and it reads, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others, that shall spend his goods riotously. Okay? He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others. Okay? Because the Lord said when you go to Job 20th chapter, everything that you have raped, robbed, murdered, okay, and pillaged, it's going to be given back to the Israelites. Okay? So he that gathereth, Sirach 14:4, he that gathereth by defrauding, his own soul gathereth for others. When you go to the word defraud, it means cheat, man. Okay? And usury, man. This devil does everything through usury, man. Okay? It say that shall spend his goods riotously. Riotously. So you Edomites got to pay for everything that you have done to the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, man. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 11. And that's why we constantly tell you, Jakes out there, don't trust these damn devils, man. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11. And it reads, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. Delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, which is what? His riches. But remember, they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. Keep thee far from the man that have power to kill. Okay? So shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come unto him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, meaning traps, with the Edomites sell for you all type of traps. That's why I showed you this video. And that thou walkest upon the battlement of the city. Listen, man. As near as thou canst, guess at thy neighbor and consult with the wise. Be among brethren, man. Okay? That's why I tell you in Ecclesiastes 12, sit not with a rich man. Okay? Matter of fact, it tell you right here. What is this? Ecclesiastes 13 and let me see. It say Ecclesiastes 13 and verse 17, right? It say, what fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly. What agreement is there between a hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so is the rich eat up the poor. Okay? Looking for the verse when they say, sit not at all. Matter of fact, this is Ecclesiastes 13 and 8. Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down into jollity. Right, I'm looking for the verse. It may be in 12. So I'm gonna start at verse 10. This is Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and that thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Right? Here you go. Sit him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. And that's what they want to do, man. That's why you got this Edomite talking about he want his birthright back. Okay? Well, you can't get your birthright back. You sold it for some raw meat, man. Okay? And it wasn't yours in the first place, man. The Lord set you up to be a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction. Okay? That's in Romans the 9th chapter, man. The Edomites are vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. The Lord say, Out of one lump, he made two vessels. One vessel to worship him and one to go against that, man. One to be righteous and one to be wicked. Okay? So, you Edomites can't get your birthright. It was never yours in the first place. It was the will of the Heavenly Father. It reads, never let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou of the last, remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or such as come nigh wild beasts? Who will pity a charmer that is bitten by a serpent? So you know you got the charmers that play the little flute, and they make the cobras come out of the basket, right? And as soon as he start playing that flute or whatever it is they play, they get bit by the cobra, man. So who will pity a charmer that is bitten by the serpent? Nobody, man. If you sitting there playing with serpents, right? You playing with snakes, hey, and you get bit, that's your judgment, man. Okay? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? No one, man. And what does it tell you? Oh, that was beautiful. When you go to Isaiah 13 and 15, this is what it reads. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, you Edomites, in the day of judgment, right? And the Lord said this, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So if you join to these Edomites, right, you got a lot of Jake comment boards and do videos talking about Esau, Edomite, the so-called white man, and they the Arabs, and it's some good Edomites, and some Edomites can be saved. Hey, you're going to be destroyed with them, man. Okay? You want to cleave to them devils? You're going to be destroyed, man. The Lord say, when you go to Psalm chapter 14, this is what it reads. Psalm 14 and 1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. And who's the fool? The Lord called the Edomite fools. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looketh down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there was any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. Okay? Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Who eat up my people as they eat bread and call not upon the Lord. And that's what they do, man. Okay? They destroy Jake. But this is the Lord say, Psalms 11 and 7. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, where the Lord Yahweh bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. So the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom shall be glad, man. Because the Lord say he is bringing you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans back out of captivity, man. Okay? That's why I said he will no more carry thee away into captivity. Okay? And he said, what he said, affliction shall not rise up a second time, man. So you Edomites are done, man. Everything that you have done, it shall be done to you, man. Sevenfold. Let me get this is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 16, and I'm gonna close on this one. And it reads, let me see, Jeremiah 30 and 15. Why criest thou for thy afflictions? Thy sorrows are incurable for the multitude of thy iniquities, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. Okay? Unto you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans. But the Lord say this, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all they that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord Yahweh, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Well, Yahushua came and died to redeem the elect of Israel, man, the remnant. Okay. So while the pride of these Edomites hard have deceived them, they finna be destroyed by that, man. Okay. Now I'm gonna close. Let me close on this one. This is Psalm chapter 50. Psalm 50 and verse 20. And it reads, Thy citizens speaketh against thy brother, thy slanderers, thy own mother's son. Who is it talking about? Esau slanderers his own mother's son, Jacob. These things has thy done, right? Rape, rob, murder, and pillage. And I kept silent. Yahweh said he kept silent. And he said, Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. That's why you said, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. In Zechariah 11:5. But the Lord say, Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. The Lord said he going to set the Israelites in order before your eyes. That's why I read Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. They stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted them, and they made no account of our labors. You Edomites. It said the same thing in Revelation 11, okay, 11. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them that saw them, okay? That's Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones, man. That is seeing a great army. So you Edomites is finna be reproved. And you get reproved now, man, because you have the opioid crisis, the suicide rate, your ODing rate, and you are dying faster than you can be born, man. You have 4 epidemics going on with you Edomites right now. That's why Deuteronomy 30:7, the Lord say, matter of fact, let me read it. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. And it reads, And the Lord Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Who persecuted us? When you read Psalm 83rd chapter, it tell you all these 17 heathen nations have had you in captivity one time or another, man. Okay? All these nations. The Lord created 18 nations. The 12 tribes of Israel is one nation. The other 17 nations have all had us in captivity, man. Okay? That's why the Lord said, all thine adversaries shall go into captivity. Every one of them, man. This is Ecclesiastes 51 and verse 2. For this is, yes, Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, 51 and 2. Let me read 1. I will thank thee, O Lord Yahweh, and King, and praise thee, O power, my Savior. I do give praise unto thy name, which is Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Verse 2. For thou art my defender and helper. Okay, and that word Isaiah mean helper, man. Okay, I am helped of Yahweh. Okay, for thou art my defender and helper, and has preserved my body from destruction and from the snare of the slanderous tongue. What does devil mean? What does devil mean? Diablos, which mean what? Accuser, right? That slanderer, man. The devil, the deceiver. For thou art my defender and helper, and hast preserved my body from destruction and from the snare of the slanderous tongue, which is who? The Edomite. And from the lips that forge lies, and has been my helper against my adversaries. With an S. That's all the 17 heathen nations, man. Our adversaries. So with that, gonna give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth by the four winds of the earth, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akwa who are listening and learning. Shalom. You Edomites gonna pay for this, man. So while I'm letting this play, I want to get a couple more precepts. This is Jeremiah 49 and verse 12. And it reads, For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Why? Why do we drink of the cup? Because you Edomites help forth the affliction. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Question mark. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord Yahweh, that Basel shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse. And all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. Okay? That's why the Lord say this. Isaiah 34 and 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. And we look up that word heaven, it just means in the skies. Okay? This heaven, the rulership of Esau Edom, because it's going to be a big war against the chariots and Yahweh, with Yahweh shot in the chariots and the angels, against you Edomites and your stealth bombers and your F-35s and all your jets. Okay? For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. It shall come down upon Idumea, which is the Greek word for Edom, and upon all the people of my curse to judgment. Okay? And it continues in Psalm 63. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Okay? Them dyed garments meaning what? A lot of slaughter, man. And you can prove that when you go to Revelation 19. Revelation 19 says this. It's Revelation 19. Let me make sure. Right. Revelation 19:11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon it was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. Make war with who? You Edomites and your military. Okay? In Jeremiah verse 13, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. Okay? And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, meaning the chariots, which you Edomites call spaceships, UFOs, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. But my point is and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. Why? Because when you read Isaiah 63 and 1, who is this that coming from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? He came from slaughtering you Edomites, man. Okay? Much bloodshed. And to tell you in Revelation that the blood is going to be up to the horse's bridle, man. Okay? That this is glorious in his apparel, traveling the greatness of his strength. I speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury. This is Yahweh speaking. Okay? This is the words of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Okay? And his son Yahweh, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. This Yahweh, man. This is the words of Yahweh speaking right here, okay? The Lord Yahweh finna send his son back and slay you devils, man. Okay, so with that, shalom.